Okay. Let's see. So, well, still work in progress, by the way. Well goes here, goes to the 1,525 gallon tank outside. 1,025 gallon tank outside comes back right here. Goes to this motor. This motor is from one of my old coworkers who mailed this to me because my motor died from the freeze. Coworker Chris, shout out to Chris. He also sent me this one. He sent my wife and I that, so really awesome. So this one is half horsepower. It's good for like one building at once. This is good for like everything at once. So we're gonna just survive on this for now while I work on that, because this one actually cracked. It like cracked cast iron. Let's see. So it comes in from 1525 gallon and then comes out right there because there's heat from the motor. That's why you got to have it's brass. You definitely want to use metal on that. Oh, let's see. What else is there? Sorry, allergies are knocking me out. Then right here goes like this. Goes to 80 gallon pressure tank. And then there's your bleed out valve. So connect to garden hose if I ever need to sit there and drain stuff. Shut off valve, PEX tubing, sediment filter, ultraviolet light. Let's see. What is this? We're looking at like 365 days type of deal. Ultraviolet light. Then the ultraviolet light goes, you can see the, let's see, water softener, big tank of salt right here. And then this goes to carbon filter. Yeah, carbon filter. And then splits off. So the bigger one is to the houses. Main house, guest house, and then the smaller one in the back goes to a workshop. And then in the main house is where there is reverse osmosis that then is at the sink, but also feeds the refrigerator and the ice cubes. So then I can actually stop doing carbon filtration on the refrigerator since I'm doing it all in here. And so then, yeah, I mean, it's like pristine. And then also from doing all of this, this is a lot of work, a ridiculous amount of work. But from doing all of this and having, you know, freaking laboratory type setup, now I get to save my dishwasher and save my water heater, coffee machine, washing machine, because the water is so hard that's coming from the well. Well is approximately 500 feet deep. And yeah, and then at a later date, start tying in for gray water to reclaim. Because even from sitting there doing softening, oh, let me show. Let's see. From doing softening, there is this pit, and there's the 1525 gallon tank that I was talking about, the bladder right there. This is a 3-foot pit to sit there and grab, and it's like hard rock. And this is to grab water bleed off approximately every morning. Right now the timer is set for 2 a.m. to sit there and grab, to do a water dump. And so it takes about an hour to sit there and just dump out water into this. And there's going to be a ton of pea gravel that catches it. And yeah, so that's about it. I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something cool and I totally forgot. But anyway, so I can knock out the carbon filtration. And then, oh, that's right. I was talking about gray water. Okay, sorry, ADHD. Okay, so gray water at a later date and time, because I've also got rainwater up at the house. But at a later date and time, I'd love to take a tank like this or maybe something bigger. And I would just freaking love to sit there and grab water, this water. I don't know, there's a couple ways to take it, but basically take all the water from like the showers and from here and from reverse osmosis, which, because depending what you're using, you can lose 1 to 2 gallons of water for reverse osmosis. So it'll take about an hour to refill, and it'll sit there and take about an hour to refill, and I will spend about 1 gallon of water to get 1 good gallon of reverse osmosis water with, some of the basics added back in, like the calcium, the iron, stuff like that. Otherwise, it would be distilled water, and that's not something for humans. So anyways, yeah, at a later date and time, I'll do gray water, and then that way I can sit there and, flush the toilets and stuff like that. But I mean, it's almost to the point of like, gosh, should I, it's a deeper process. It's something that it's better to think about if you are building a house from scratch. It's much harder to talk about when you're working on something pre-existing. And I will close this video by saying Michael Reynolds' book, Water from the Sky, has really changed my mind about how water is consumed. I don't know that this is always going to be here for having a well and being able to pull water. I do think kind of depends on how pessimistic I want to talk about for the future, but it's very realistic for me to think that because of the rate that we as humans, not just Americans, but humans, squander our resources, I could totally sit there and kind of go Kevin Costner's Waterworld on this, or Mad Max, or, whatever kind of dystopian thing. So this is why I've always tried to focus on this for my friends that have kind of followed what I've done over the years. This is why I'm kind of always obsessed with how our resources spent, where do they go, what is happening, and more importantly, technology. Technology really makes this a lot simpler. So this is going to be almost entirely driven by technology. There's a lot of room for improvement to put automation with, Python and things like that in play. That's going to be a longer process as well. Some of it may involve just having to sit there and like hijack serial connections and trying to kind of reverse engineer it. Because the manufacturers that you would tie into, they want to sit there and charge a ton of money. And it's like, that's, just give me an RS-232 port. Like, I don't need to sit there and pay, $100,000 just to see what some bit is that comes through. So anyways, totally digressing, but yeah, that's it.